The studio lounge was far quieter than it should have been on a Friday evening. Most interns had already left, leaving only the low hum of old air conditioning and the faint echoes of footsteps fading down the hall. Mina sat at the far end of the long sofa, her arms crossed, her expression unreadable as always, cool, composed, and utterly unshakable. Lynn pushed the door open with her shoulder, carefully carrying 2 steaming paper cups. The warmth from the cups seeped into her fingers, a stark contrast to the chilly atmosphere Mina always seemed to carry with her. Still editing? Lynn's voice was soft, intentionally gentle, so as not to startle the focused editor. Mina didn't look up from her laptop, her fingers still poised over the keyboard. Deadlines don't finish themselves. Her tone was clipped, efficient. Lynn just smiled and walked over, placing one of the cups on the small table beside her. Hot chocolate. Extra marshmallows, she announced, because someone needs sugar in their system before she turns into an actual ice sculpture. Mina finally paused, her eyes shifting to the cup as if it were some strange alien offering. I don't need, just drink it, Lynn interrupted, her voice firm but kind. She dropped onto the sofa next to Mina, the cushions sighing under her weight. For a moment, a long, tense moment, Mina did nothing. Then slowly, as if against her better judgment, she wrapped her fingers around the warm cup and took a small sip. Lynn watched, not wanting to be obvious, as Mina's shoulders relaxed, just a fraction of an inch. It was almost imperceptible, but Lynn saw it. She always caught these little things when it came to Mina. The two of them had been paired for a documentary project 3 weeks ago. It was a classic case of opposites attract, or perhaps opposites clashing. Lynn, the cheerful, chatty filmmaker who saw stories in every shadow, and Mina, the silent, perfectionist editor who saw only timelines and cut points. Sparks definitely did not fly at first. In fact, Lynn often wondered if Mina secretly disliked her, if her constant stream of ideas and chatter was an annoyance. But then, little things started happening, small, almost invisible gestures that began to chip away at Lynn's assumptions. She noticed Mina waiting for her after long production meetings, lingering by the door until Lynn had packed up her things. She'd find her favorite snacks mysteriously appearing on her desk, right when she needed a boost. And lately, there was the staring, quite a lot of staring. Intense, focused gazes from across the room that would vanish the moment Lynn caught her eye. But every single time the air between them grew warm, every time a genuine connection seemed possible, Mina would pull back, retreating behind that formidable icy shell. Tonight, though, something felt different. The exhaustion of the week hung in the air, but there was something else too, a vulnerability that Lynn hadn't sensed before. Leaning back against the sofa, Lynn stretched her arms above her head with a groan. We've been working non-stop for days. You know, normal people take breaks. Mina carefully set her now half-empty cup on the table. Breaks slow you down, and being a robot slows your humanity, Lynn teased, nudging Mina's arm playfully. Mina shot her a sharp glare, but Lynn could see there was no real bite in it. She could see the corners of Mina's lips fighting a smile, a tiny tremor of amusement she was trying so hard to suppress. The silence that fell between them this time was softer, more comfortable. It wasn't an absence of words, but a shared space of quiet understanding. Finally, Lynn gathered her courage. She nudged her knee gently against Mina's, a small, deliberate touch. Want to talk about what's really bothering you? Mina froze, her entire body going rigid. Nothing is, Mina. Lynn said her name slowly, warmly, infusing it with all the patience she had. It was a single word, but it seemed to cut through all the walls, all the defenses Mina had built. Mina inhaled, a long, shaky breath that betrayed her calm exterior. I'm not good at this. Her voice was barely a whisper. At what? Lynn asked, her own voice just as quiet. At Mina gestured vaguely with her hand, a frustrated motion in the space between them. Whatever this is, Lynn's heart did a little flip in her chest. This was it. This was the moment of truth. Then let me help, she said, her voice filled with a sincerity she hoped Mina could feel. A dangerous softness filled Mina's dark eyes, a look of longing and fear all at once. She swallowed hard. You make it sound so simple. It can be, Lynn whispered, letting her leg rest against Mina's. This time, Mina didn't pull away. Encouraged, Lynn scooted closer, closing the small, fragile distance that separated them. The scent of Mina's shampoo, something clean and subtle, filled her senses. Tell me to stop, Lynn murmured, her voice a low thrum in the quiet room, and I will. I promise. Mina didn't speak. She didn't blink. She didn't move. But she didn't stop her either. That was all the permission Lynn needed. Slowly, so slowly, Lynn lifted her hand, her fingers trembling slightly as she brushed a loose strand of dark hair behind Mina's ear. The touch was electric. Mina's breath hitched, and a faint blush bloomed on her cheeks, the palest pink, but unmistakable against her fair skin. You're not made of ice, you know, Lynn murmured, her thumb gently stroking Mina's cheekbone. Feels like I am sometimes, Mina confessed, her voice thick with emotion. Then let me melt you. The words hung in the air between them, fragile, trembling, and full of promise. And then, in a move that took Lynn completely by surprise, Mina leaned in first. It was barely a movement, a slight tilt of her head, but it was enough. It was everything. It was enough for Lynn to close the final inch between them. Their lips met softly, carefully, as if both of them were afraid the moment might shatter if they moved too fast. It was a kiss of questions, of tentative exploration. Mina's breath trembled against Lynn's mouth, and she could feel Mina's fingers curling tightly into the sofa cushions, anchoring herself to the moment. Lynn cupped Mina's cheek, her touch slow and steady, trying to communicate all her reassurance, all her patience, through that simple gesture. She guided Mina gently into the kiss, letting her know it was okay to let go. And then, Mina melted. Truly, completely melted. Her hand, which had been clenched by her side, slid to Lynn's waist, pulling her closer with an unexpected boldness, a sudden claiming. Lynn smiled into the kiss, a wave of triumph and joy washing over her. She could feel every second of restraint, every wall, every icy barrier slipping from Mina's grip. Emboldened by Lynn's response, Mina kissed her again, deeper this time, all hesitation dissolving like snow under a warm spring sun. It was a kiss of release, of pent-up feelings finally breaking free. When they finally parted, both of them breathless, Mina looked away, completely flustered. Her breath was uneven, and the blush on her cheeks had deepened. I didn't mean to. That is, Lynn silenced her by gently placing a finger on her lips. Don't apologize. Never for that. Mina's gaze finally met hers again, her eyes vulnerable and wide open in a way Lynn had never, ever seen before. The Ice Queen was gone, and in her place was just Mina. So what now? Mina whispered, the question hanging in the air, full of uncertainty. Now, Lynn said, her voice soft as she brushed her forehead against Mina's, you stop running from what you feel. And she pressed a soft, lingering kiss to the corner of Mina's lips. I keep melting you. Little by little, a small, real smile finally broke through on Mina's face. I want that. And I think, Lynn said, wrapping an arm around her, pulling her close, you deserve it. For the first time since they met, Mina leaned fully into her warmth, the ice breaking, her heart melting, piece by fragile, beautiful piece.